Alrighty guys, welcome back to the best investing money management channel on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be talking about PayPal. And I do have some news. We are now going to be allowing chat room access completely free. So make sure you guys click the link down below. It's going to be called chat room. Make sure you guys click that link and sign up, and you guys will have access to the chat room where I'm going to be calling out stocks and putting in my watch list and all that fun stuff for the week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode though. We're going to be talking about why I just bought some more PayPal stock. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys get anything in value, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and at the end of the day, hitting that like button really helps me out. So guys, make sure you guys do that. So starting off, what is PayPal? Well, for those of you that don't know what PayPal is, you must be living under a rock, because PayPal is one of the largest fintech stocks out there. The company holds a ton of Bitcoin, and they're pretty much well known for their app where you can send money to friends and family. On top of it's pretty much one of the most sought after safe payment gateways out there. In my opinion, it's a fantastic growth stock, and I always highly recommend it. But looking at the stock, you can see we suffered a huge sell-off, and the reason why we saw a lot of it is because they did announce some earnings. Their earnings weren't too crazy. It was about average for the company, but on top of that, a lot of analysts have been downgrading this stock, and I do see their perspective, but at the end of the day, the stock is more than about 40% off its highs, which anytime a stock sells off that much and it's still a stable stock with increasing revenue, great margins, good cash on hand, very little to no long-term debt, it's always it's always a good idea to just start buying some on a fair price. I'm a huge believer that PayPal will continue, if not find some support near this 180 mark all the way to this 170 mark. Right in that zone, I really have a strong belief that we'll see some buying pressure step in. Not to mention, it historically has used this 200 moving average line as support, right? It came in contact with it, it immediately got bought up, and really hasn't even had a second to breathe other than in here. So now when a stock's selling off near and around that moving average, I'm always going to pick up a few shares. Not to mention, if we actually look at PayPal's revenue, it's actually very, very solid, right? It's up 13%, 21%. So it's very, very good. Not to mention, guys, it has a very good EPS. It has, if we look at the cash on hand, they have $13 billion in cash. And if you compare that to the long-term debt, with only about $8 billion in debt, they have $13 billion in cash, which is fantastic, because if PayPal ever slows down or goes through a hard time, they have way more cash on hand than debt, so they can easily pay off their debt, easily take that other leftover cash, grow it and put it into the business, grow it, invest in it, and grow. And I really think that we're going to be looking back in the next probably 2 to 3 years and wish we would have picked up some PayPal. But yes, if we're looking at trends, we have this beautiful long-term trend, as you can see, a beautiful upward trend, but short-term, it's not looking too great, just because the year, you can see we've seen some sell-off. So there could be a situation where it continues to sell off a little bit, but just a matter of time before we see some buying pressure step in, especially if we look at it on the RSI, which is the relative strength index. You can see almost any time it really falls below 30 or 35 on the RSI, we have this tendency to see buying pressure, right? So it fell really undervalued in here. It got bought up right near and around that 200 moving average line. I think it's going to be the exact same thing. So there's a couple ways that you can go about doing this. The very first way is buy it right now. You could do a possible swing trade, set your stops pretty much right below this 200 moving average line, and just hold it for a couple of months and kind of see what happens with it. You're virtually going to risk probably about 3 or 4% to possibly make about 20, which is a very good risk and reward. Not to mention, another good strategy would just be holding it for about 2 to 5 years, just because the overall growth of fintech is growing and growing and and growing. And I think PayPal is definitely going to come out and be one of the front runners in that sector. I really think it's going to be a competition between PayPal and Square, but it's going to all come down to pretty much users and revenue, just like any sector. But really, guys, I'm really excited to see kind of where this stock goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and stay safe. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.